Welcome back. So it's been a while since I made a video, so let's just get started. So we'll move on to a new topic called linear modeling. Now, it's not exactly a new topic basically because this is just the same as linear relationships. So linear modeling is kind of like constructing an equation of a line to model a natural event. So as you've already learnt, how to find the equation of a straight line, y is equal to mx plus b, right? So y equals to mx plus b. This is your equation of a line, where m is the gradient and b is the y-intercept. Okay, so let's get started. So a linear function makes a straight line graph. So anything that's linear is basically a straight line. Linear equations are in the form y equals to mx plus b. Y is the dependent variable and x is the independent variable. So just to give you an example of what a dependent variable is, a dependent variable could be something like speed, right? So if you have a graph that is speed and time, so if this is speed and this is time. Now it makes sense to say speed depends on time, right? But it would not make sense to say time depends on the speed. So that's why we say speed is the dependent variable, because it depends on the independent variable. Okay, so a very common independent variable is time. Okay, all right. So m is the slope, the gradient of the line. I'm sure you already know. B is the y-intercept. So if you have a line that looks like this point is the y-intercept. So this is your B. Gradient of the line is the slope of the line. So to find the gradient, what you can do is draw a triangle, and then just find the vertical rise over the horizontal run. So I'll go through some examples in case you have forgotten. But basically a line that's going up from left to right has a positive gradient. A line that's going down from left to right has a negative gradient. So be aware of that. The y-intercept is the point where the line crosses the y-axis. So for example, in this example, this is the y-intercept, right? This is the y-intercept here. It is either read directly from the graph, so you can read it from the graph, or you calculate it by substituting a point into the equation y equals mx plus b, where the m is known. Now, so if the equation is already given to you, we know that the y-intercept is this value here. You don't actually need to substitute a point, so you don't need to worry about this. We know that the value of this, or the value of the b, is the y-intercept. Okay, all right. So you don't even need to know what the m is to find what the y-intercept is. Let's go through some examples. For the given lines below, state the gradient and y-intercept and form the equation of the line in the form y equals mx plus b. Okay, so let's just start by finding what the gradient is. Gradient, we can use the m to represent that. Basically, you can just draw a triangle. Now in this case, the triangle is already drawn for you. So just look at this triangle here. It doesn't matter which triangle you look at, because you'll get the same answer regardless. With this triangle, the rise is 3. The run is 1. Okay, so then the answer is just 3 over 1, which equals to 3, right? Now, once you get the gradient, you have to determine whether it's positive or negative. So this is going up. So then we know that the gradient is going to be a positive 3. Right, now the next is the y-intercept. The y-intercept is b. What does b equal to? Well, y-intercept is where the line crosses the y-axis. So this is the y-axis. Okay, so it crosses at this point, right? This line crosses the y-axis at this point. So the y-intercept is minus 2. Once we figured out these two things, m and b, we can write the equation of the line. Y is equal to mx, y equals to m, which is 3x, plus b. So plus minus 2, right? So plus minus 2 is the same as minus 2. Okay, so I hope that was quite straightforward. Let's go through another example. So in here, find the gradient. So the gradient, just draw this triangle. Now it doesn't matter which triangle you draw. You can draw that one, you can draw this one. It doesn't really matter. So here, they drew this triangle here, okay? So this is, so the rise is what? The rise is, okay, so they wrote minus 2 here, but if you write 2, it's also fine. So 2 divided by 1, right? Because the run is 1, yeah? And then you have to determine if it's positive or negative. Because the line's going down, it's a negative. So you put a minus in the front. So it's equal to minus 2. Okay. Now, it doesn't matter how you draw a triangle. You can draw a triangle like this as well if you want to. If you draw a triangle like this, right? So then what you get is the rise is equal to 2, the run is 1. So 2 over 1, and then you put a minus in the front because this line is going down, right? So then the gradient is minus 2. The y-intercept is equal to what? Y-intercept is when it crosses the y-axis, which is 4. So then your answer is y is equal to the mx minus 2x plus b, so plus 4, right? This is your equation of the line. Right, so that's pretty straightforward. For the given table values, find the gradient of the line and then form the equation. Okay, so basically, there's a few ways to do a question like this. So what I recommend is find the gradient of the line first. So the gradient of the line is equal to y2 take away y1 over x2 take away the x1. So what that means is this: find two y values. So you got to pick 2 points first. So I'm going to pick this point and this point, right? Because each point has an x and y value. Now, what does y2 equal to? So we can say, so this is your first point, your second point, right? So that means the 4 is the x1, 7 is the x2, 10 is the y1, 31 is the y2. So I can just do 31 take away 10 over 7 take away 4, right? Because remember, this is your first point. So if this is the first point, this is your x1, this is your y1, this is your x2, this is your y2, right? So y2 take away y1 is 31 take away 10 over 7 take away 4, which equals to 21 over 3, which equals to 7. So we found that the gradient is equal to 7, right? Now, how do you find the equation of the line? Okay, so then what you can do is you can use the point gradient formula. So the point gradient formula is y take away y1 is equal to gradient x take away the x1. So this is the point gradient formula that you can use to find the equation of a line. And x1 and y1 can be at any point on the graph. So I can just pick the first point. So let's do it. So y take away y1, so we can just pick this point, so 10 is equal to the gradient, which is 7, x take away x1, 4. And what we can do is just expand this. So y take away 10 equals to 7x take away 28. Add 10 to both sides, y equals to 7x minus the 18, right? With plus 10 to both sides. So that's the equation of the line. Y equals to 7x take away the 18. Okay, so that's with this question done. We can apply the same way to do this question. So I'm just going to do it a bit faster now. So find the gradient. M equals to 21 take away 9 over 3 take away 1, which equals to 12 over 2, which equals to 6. And then we use the point gradient formula. So we can use it for this point. Y take away 9 equals to the gradient x take away 1. So y take away 9 equals to 6x take away 6. Y equals to 6x plus 9 to both sides, so plus 3. So that's your answer. Alright, so hopefully that wasn't too challenging. So even though they didn't teach you the point gradient formula here, I expected you to know this because I have taught you this in the past. Alright, the last one I'm going to go through is graphing straight lines. So sketching a straight line requires at least 2 points. Actually, to tell you what, you only need 2 points to sketch a straight line. So I wouldn't say that at least 2 points. I think 2 points is all you need. When an equation is written in gradient intercept form, so gradient intercept form is basically y is equal to mx plus b, because m is the gradient and b is the intercept, right? One point on the graph is immediately available, the y-intercept, because we know that when you write the equation in this form, we already know what the y-intercept is. Now we have to find the second point. A second point can be quickly calculated using the gradient. Okay, or otherwise can follow these steps to graph. Now, I really do not recommend using table of values because I think it's a very slow way to do this. So I'm not going to go through the table of values way. I'm going to explain to you how I would draw these graphs. Okay, so let's take a look. Y equals to 3x and minus 1. All right, so let's start by drawing this. So to draw this, now you don't need to do what the booklet says, where the booklet says, I mean, the first step is right, find the y-intercept, but then it says the second point can be quickly calculated using the gradient. Now you don't need to do this, so I'm going to tell you a way that I will do it, which I think is easier. And you're probably already familiar with this method, but when you come to drawing a graph, first step, yes, you find the y-intercept. Now to find the y-intercept, you basically find the value of b, so in this case, equals to -1. Second step, find the x-intercept. Now to find the x-intercept, you have to let y is equal to 0, right? So then what happens is this, 0 equals to 3x, take away 1. So then you add 1 to both sides, 1 equals to 3x, divide both sides by 3, 1 on 3 equals to x. So your x-intercept is a third, right? So then now plot the points in. Y-intercept is -1, x-intercept is about a third. Once you do that, you can just connect the two dots, right? So it's like this. And then you're done, right? So basically, to sketch a straight line, find the x and y intercepts, and then you connect them, and then you've answered the question. Okay, so find the gradient of each of these lines. Remember, just draw a triangle. So here, what you can do is this. You can draw a triangle that looks like this. This can be a triangle, right? You draw a triangle like this, what's the rise? So gradient is equal to the rise, which is 8, divided by the run, which is 2, right? So it equals to 4. All right, so I'm not going to go through all these examples as these questions are quite straightforward. I'll pick another one. So pick this triangle here. Draw a triangle here, right? So what's the rise here? Rise is 3, right? 3 over run, which is 4. Now, because this is going down, you put a minus in the front. Okay. Find the gradient and y-intercept of each of the line below. So, the gradient, well, just draw a triangle. This can be a triangle, right? The gradient is equal to what? This is about 5, right? 5 units. 5 over 2. Y-intercept, so b is equal to -5. That's pretty easy. Find the slope of each of these lines. Be careful, the scales are not the same, okay? That's okay. Just draw your triangle. So what I try to do is try to make sure that the triangle will touch these lines, all right? So it's better to draw a triangle like this compared to a triangle like this, right? Because when you draw a triangle like this, you have to try and read off what that point is. So it's easier to draw a triangle where it's part of the grids, okay? So this is what, 40, right? 120 take away 80, and what's the bottom? Bottom is 40 take away 20, which is 20. So the gradient is equal to 40 over 20, and because it's going up, we don't need to put a minus. This is equal to 2. All right, and then find the y-intercept. So to find the y-intercept, basically, if m equals to 2, b equals to what? 40, right? So it's pretty easy, these questions. Y-intercept for a question like this is what? 0, right? Because it goes through the origin. To find the gradient, just draw a triangle. So there's probably not an easy triangle to draw from. I guess that one is okay. This one is kind of in the middle. So what's that? That should be is that a 6? I guess it's a 6. I don't know. 6 over 20, which equals to 3 over 10. Right. Okay. Draw the graphs of the linear relationship with the following equation. Okay, so I'll do some of these questions just so that you have an idea of what to do for them. So let's just draw a line. All right, so to draw a graph like this, basically you got to find the y-intercept. So what's the y-intercept? Y-intercept is what? 7, right? Because it's just your b. Now find the x-intercept. To find the x-intercept, let y equal to 0, right? So let y equal to 0. So then what you have is 0 equals to 2x plus 7. So then you have -7 equals to 2x minus 7 on 2. equals to x, right? So this is about minus 3.5. So what we can do is this. So label the y-intercept first. Y-intercept is 7. So I guess that can be 2. So 2, 4, 6, 7. This is your 7. X-intercept is, this is minus 3.5. So minus 2. This is minus 4. So I guess minus 3.5 is somewhere here. Minus 3.5. And then once you find the x and y-intercept, just connect the two dots. So just draw a straight line. You can just draw a line. And there you have it. So just remember, when it comes to drawing these graphs, make sure you find the x and y intercepts first and then just connect the two dots. Okay, so I'll go through another example. So pick say the h. Okay. All right, so for h, so the gradient is y. So what? I mean, the equation is y equals minus. So this is your h. This is your a. So y equals minus 3 on 4x plus 1. So first step, find the y-intercept. Y-intercept is equal to what? It's your b here, right? So it's 1. Now to find the x-intercept, so x-int. So let y equal to 0. So then you have 0 equals to minus 3 on 4x plus 1. Take away 1 from both sides. Minus 1 equals to minus 3 on 4x. Times both sides by 4. Minus 4 is equal to minus 3x. And then x is equal to what? You can divide both sides by a minus 3. So you get 4 over 3 equals to x, right? So the y-intercept is 1. So the y-intercept is 1. This is your y, this is your x. And your x-intercept is 4 over 3. So that's about 1.33. So it's about here. Okay. So then what you can do is just draw a line that goes through these 2 points. And then just label it, right? So this is 4 over 3. Okay. So that's how you draw these graphs. Okay. Alright, it says write the gradient and y-intercept for each of the following lines. So the gradient basically is your m, so number in front of the x. So gradient equals to 5. Y-intercept is your b. B is minus 1, right? Let's go through another example. So a question like C, right? So what's your gradient? Gradient is the number in front of the x. So remember, 3x on 4 can also be written as 3 on 4x. Okay. So then that's the gradient is equal to 3 on 4. Y-intercept, well, y-intercept, it doesn't have a y. I mean, so it doesn't show a number here. Basically, that means it's 0. Because you can write it as this plus 0, right? So then y-intercept is your 0. Right? Find the linear equation that describes the pattern shown in each of the following tables. Okay, so this is very similar to this question over here. But so I'm going to tell you the slow method first. Okay, so the slow method is basically the method that I just did. So you find the gradient by using the y2 take away y1. Which it gives you what? 1, right? And then you have to find use the point gradient formula. So y take away one of the points. So I'm going to pick that point. Y take away 6 equals to gradient, which is 1. I don't need to write anything. X take away 1. So y is equal to x plus 6 to both sides, plus 5. Alright, so that's the quick way. I mean, sorry, this is a slow way. The quick way is to just look at the numbers and see what pattern it is. So you can see that y is just the x value plus 5, right? So you can go straight into the answer. Okay. So for this one, just by looking at these numbers, you know that y is just x take away 2, right? I mean, x take away 3, right? Because you just take away 3, you get the second value. So you can just go straight to y equals to x take away 3. So that's how you can find the equation of these lines the quicker way. Alright, so for this question now, try to come up with a quick way first. See if you can just find a pattern between these two numbers. So I guess for these ones, the difference is not constant. So then I guess you have to use the slow method, find the gradient. Gradient equals to 3.7, take away 2.2 over 6 take away 3, which gives you 1.5 over 3, which is 0.5, right? Now use the point gradient formula, so you can pick this point. So y take away 2.2 equals to 0.5, x take away 3, y take away 2.2 equals to 0.5x, take away 1.5, y equals to 0.5x, add 2.2 to both sides, plus 0.7. So this is your equation, alright? So I'm not going to do D because I think you can just use this method. Alright, so I think that's all the questions that I'm going to go through for today. So hopefully this content isn't too difficult and the questions are quite straightforward. Okay, thank you for listening.